Very, very good. Thank you. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm Dr. Nelva Bryant. It's been a little bit since I've had a podcast for you guys, but I'm very excited to be back with you today. I have a special guest, Derrick Garrett from Zoundz for Pets. Known him for quite some time, and today we're going to get an update on what he's been doing these past few years, or this past year at least, and then also talk about some things that folks don't realize, stress or anxiety in pets. But before I let that get started, I am Dr. Nelva Bryant. I'm a veterinarian and I work in the airline industry. I am on staff with Delta Airlines, where I, in a sense, help review and revise the policies for animal transportation. And I've been doing that for quite some time now and love every minute of it. From that, I basically have learned some things that pet owners and actually our veterinarians can do to help pets arrive to their destination safely. So I started the platform When Pets Fly to share that information, and very excited about it. Growing a lot. It's been good over it's been 5 years now. And the coolest thing about it is we're transitioning. We're changing a little bit. And I think that's something, Derrick, I want to hear more about what you're doing too with your business. So that's me. Please, Derrick, introduce yourself.
So my name is Derrick Garrett. I'm the founder of Zoundz, Therapeutic Sounds for Pets, which is an application that has sound therapeutics that calm pets and reduce anxiety in stressful environments and situations. Dr. Bryant, it's hard to believe that it's been 5 years.
I know.
I almost remember the day that the two of us we had our first conversation, our intro call. Because I think I reached out. I was just getting started, and I reached out to you on LinkedIn.
Was it LinkedIn? I'm trying to remember, or did we? Because remember, during the pandemic time, Clubhouse was huge. You sure it was that, or was it Clubhouse? I don't remember exactly where we met.
No, I think it was something on LinkedIn. Okay. Some sort of posting that you did on LinkedIn that really caught my attention. I'm like, I'm gonna reach out to her. And I reached out to you on LinkedIn. I think like a week or two later, we had our first call, and we haven't looked back since. But it's hard to believe it's been 5 years. Wow.
Time is just going. And look, we both have been on our same platform. You've been on your platform, and I've been on mine. And things are changing, Things are changing. So definitely tell me what's going on with you this year, because it's been almost a year since we last spoke, had you on.
So, well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. Always having me on. The When Pets Fly podcast. I always enjoy, connecting and hearing what you all are up to, as well as sharing. And of course, we know through LinkedIn, but it's good to hear it live, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so things are great. Like we 2025 was quietly the best year yet for Zoundz in a lot of different ways. We had an amazing year. It was also a year of what I would call, from a founder's perspective, a year of reset. Just kind of, wanted to reset and make sure that we were being a little more intentional, and specifically like with partnerships and just, and also like fine tuning who we are as a brand, right? And making sure that we're staying focused on that mission. So 2025 was a great year. We were able to have the opportunity to work with some amazing partners that's still going on, still continuing, and we're setting up for a very exciting 2026.
Yeah, well, trust me, I'm with you on that. You could say towards the end of 2025, really started looking at what we were doing and what we're projecting as far as when pets fly, and I realized a lot of things we were doing. Honestly, you could say we were kind of split. I was doing things on my side. I was doing things trying to get more involved within the veterinary profession and share information that way. But then also there was a sector where it's focusing on pet owners, which is great and all. But to be honest with you, for me and what I do, the better impact I'll have for future pet travel is with veterinarians in the veterinary profession. So that's where I'm trying to make those changes that way. Thank God this past year, so far this year, I presented at the Western Veterinary Conference. It went very, very well. Yeah, it went very well received. And I want to continue down that pathway because, again, to impact pet travel, I got to focus on my veterinary profession to trickle down that information. And a lot of changes need to happen within the profession and how we even view pet travel, because it's not just a health certificate appointment. This actually should be a case where you're trying to ensure the animal welfare during transport for that animal. So
yeah,
those are my challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're just bringing it up, because in 2025 we start to focus more on hospitality partners, and just the whole preparation, travel preparation when people are traveling with their pets to hotels, which is becoming more and more of a thing. I mean, it's we're seeing more and more hotels and resorts offering, or making available for you to bring your pets to travel with your pets, because the more we see them as our family members, we want to travel with them, and it's just easy. We feel more comfortable when we have them with us, in most cases. So we're really starting to, from the Zoundz side, focus more on just the traveling prep, as people are traveling and staying in hotels with their pets, as well as air travel.
Definitely. And please tell more as far as what Zoundz does, the music and everything that you've done. Give it me a little bit. Again, I know it, but share it for folks that maybe have not listened to some of our podcasts together. But share a little bit more about Zoundz and what you're doing.
So Zoundz is an application that has species-specific sound therapies for various scenarios, such as travel, such as separation anxiety when being left home alone, and just overall well-being. We've been getting a lot of learning on how sound therapy using Zoundz is so impactful when playing the Zoundz channel through the night for your dog or cat. We're seeing that it's bringing them into a deeper sleep, and as a result of that, the behavior is better the next day. And so we're seeing some really good feedback in the shelter, in the shelters as well, with them playing Zoundz at night and them being calmer during the day, and hopefully being adopted sooner.
Think about how stressful that environment is for them. In that environment, all you hear is barking, and some dogs, I've seen clips of some dogs shutting down just mentally because of that environment.
Absolutely. And one of the things, Dr. Brian, for those who's never heard of Zoundz, I always like to clarify, because the question comes up quite frequently, and people always ask the question, well, why is Zoundz different than me playing, from another streaming platform like a Spotify or YouTube, playing, common music for dogs, there. And I tell them and explain to them, Zoundz is not, it's very specific. So it's not just any type of music. It's music that was created and curated based on peer-reviewed studies that show that there's specific parameters in music, such as chord progression, the key that the song is written in, tempo. And when you bring these parameters together, it actually can have a common effect on dogs and cats. But what I also say, dogs and cats do not respond or understand genres of music. They respond to specific parameters within a song. So within one of these playlists that you may be thinking about, just in general, not that I'm knocking, other playlists, but just to speak to what differentiates Zoundz, you could very well be in another streaming platform playing a song that will calm your pet, because that particular song falls within the specific parameters, but the very next song may not, and can completely undo, or even in some cases bring on anxiety and create anxiety. Whereas Zoundz is each song is tested in a shelter environment and is very specific, and as well as being species specific. So I'd like to clarify that, because that always come up as well. What's the difference?
Look, you can't just put your playlist on there and let it go. No. It's funny. I used to exercise in my garage, and my neighbor across the, playing music, and my neighbor says, "You have a very unusual playlist," because I go from old 80s rap to, I'm all over the place with the different music that I like to keep me motivated. So imagine if someone tried to use your playlist thinking it'll calm a pet down, but it could be all over the place, and you could calm them and then they're back excited. So yeah, having something that's scientifically based for that species to calm them, that's exactly what's needed.
Yeah. And I would say, like, last year we saw probably our biggest usage ever, and I was doing fireworks July 4th, because
Yes.
we have a specific channel that as of today it's called Scary Sounds, but we are going through a pretty significant rebranding that we're excited about.
Okay.
So we're making some change, but as of today it's called Scary Sounds. But at any rate, that's a channel that we have that's actually playing Zoundz therapeutic sounds. So it's common, but there's also white noise happening that's overlaid, that's reducing some of the exterior noise and sound. So we're excited because we feel like more and more people are paying attention and understanding that thunderstorms, fireworks, that's a major anxiety trigger for a lot of our dogs and cats. So we really every year we starting to try to get the word out, earlier and earlier, not just wait until like a couple of weeks before July 4th or a couple of weeks before, thunderstorm season starts, and, depending on what region you're in, we really try to get the word out and better educate people on, not just Zoundz. There's a lot of different tools out there that can be used, because if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this data wise, but I think July 4th may be the #1 time for pets to run away, if I'm not mistaken.
Anytime there's fireworks like that, I'm not sure if exactly. I'm not in it. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little bit out of touch with it, but I bet you emergency room visits increase for pets, or losses or stuff like that, where they get injured and escape, happens on these holidays where there's fireworks. And down here in Georgia, they take any opportunity to shoot off fireworks, as far as I'm concerned. Growing up in New York, I always thought it was illegal to do that. Right, so it's just amazing to me that you can go to this, you can buy it, but any opportunity to celebrate fireworks is going off. So, but yeah, I'm sure a lot of times pet loss and everything, or even emergency room visits, are probably around these national holidays where they have fireworks and stuff like that. Also thunderstorm. You made me think of something that you said you have for this special area, as far as giving them some noise and expose them to certain, say, thunderstorms. Another thing that really would be great to develop is kind of sounds that they might experience during travel. When you go out, when they're out there, sometimes being transported plane side, going by cargo, there might be, I don't know, the sounds of trucks or something that's, that might be something to get them accustomed to. Some of the other noises, I'm trying to think, sometimes even in cabin, there's certain sounds that's in cabin. So that might be a way to introduce some things.
That's a great point. So part of what when we're working with hospitality, as part of our travel program, is just that the noise that they're experiencing getting to the hotel, be it in a car, be it on an airline. Although we, as you can't play the music on the airplane, right? Sorry,
but at least they're kind of accustomed to hearing it, and it's not a surprise.
Exactly. And one of the things that we really try to also focus on is the pre-travel preparation. We try to help people to understand that you can't start playing Zoundz, a day or two before you're getting ready to travel, regardless if it's in the car or they're going to be traveling, via airline. It's a process, and you want them to become familiar with it in a calm environment with you at home. So we tell people that you can't ever start to prep too early in terms of playing the Zoundz travel channel and just getting them acclimated to hearing these sounds in a calm environment. So once they're in the more stressful environment, you're playing it, they're already used to it. Right. But we have, sometimes people, we're definitely a society of, we want everything to be instant, but you can't expect to start playing Zoundz and prepping 2 days before and have this magnificent outcome.
I know that goes into what I always say too. You can't get a crate for a pet the day before and put them in it and think they'll be perfectly fine. You have to get them acclimated to being confined in that crate. So how about this? Let's add Zoundz to that whole process as well. To get your pet acclimated to being confined in this crate, start months out. I mean, start way in advance and add Zoundz to that whole that parameter too. and think how relaxing it would be for them. Now they think when it's playing and I'm in there, everything is relaxing. It's good. This is a great environment to be in. I get treats. I get to hear some calming music. Let's put them together.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And so we adopted our newest family member, Harmony. We adopted her actually this past January, made 1 year. And we got her from a shelter up in Kennebunkport, and they were already playing Zoundz to our surprise, which was great. And we, so Kennebunkport from us is like a 4.5 hour drive. I think it was 4.5, 5 hours. So it was quite a drive. And I got to tell you, it made a huge difference. We had her in the crate coming home in the car, but we played Zoundz the entire way. And we truly believe that the fact that she was exposed to Zoundz well before, traveling in the car, has made a major difference. Yeah. And we made that transition right into the home, and to this day, we still play Zoundz for her through the night. And it's so amazing when she's in her crate. And I've tested this. We'll put her in a crate for nighttime to go to bed. And once she goes in the crate, she'll settle in. But and sometimes I'll intentionally wait before putting Zoundz on. I'll wait like a half hour. And once I put on the Zoundz channel, you hear her like go into a final relaxation mode. There you go. It's amazing to hear. And so we will be using sound therapeutics for her for the duration of her life. And then during the day, during relaxation time, when we're getting ready to travel, to take her to the vet, she's already prepared, because before we get in that car, she knows, and know what to expect in terms of Zoundz when we put it on in the car. It makes a huge difference.
Think about what Zoundz can do for pets that have separation anxiety. Maybe if you start implementing that'll relieve separation anxiety. I mean, everyone that was working at home and now they're going back to, forced to go back to work, and everything. Start getting Zoundz in there and relaxing them, and maybe that'll help with that whole process.
Well, that's another big focus of ours, is just, now everyone is back in the office, or hybrid. And as you know better than me, the separation anxiety is real, and it's the numbers are huge. I don't want to start dropping data, but the numbers since pre-2020 to now, compared to now, are actually huge. And so that is an area that we are also focused on, is the fact of using sound therapeutics to be able to calm your pet when you're not there. But again, preparation. You gotta, you can't just play it. You gotta prepare them and prep and get them used to the sound.
Yeah, definitely. Well, since I said separation anxiety, one thing I wanted to talk about with you today and bring up is stress in pets or anxiety in pets. I think a lot of times, I don't think pet owners understand fully what the term means, or what they mean, or say stress, or the clinical signs to look for, basically, because sometimes, I hate to say it, you could be stressing your pet out and don't even realize it, that you're doing it to them. And you might see a behavior and you might think that's a normal behavior, that, oh, that's how they react. But that's a sign of stress in them. So definitely want to talk about that today, because again, Zoundz and relieving stress in shelter environment, at home, getting ready to go to a veterinary visit or the groomers. Well, actually, to be honest with you, I think Zoundz could be used almost anywhere a pet goes, to be honest with you, and everything, just to kind of relax them. But what are your thoughts on signs of stress in pets and anxiety in pets? What do you think everybody's looking for?
I think a big one, and I don't want to cross the line of my expertise, right?
No. But you're a pet owner. You're as a pet owner too, and then from what you're doing, what do you
I mean, I think having Harmony. I mean, it's for one, it's up to us to set them up for success. That's a big one. And sometimes what we think we're doing to help them is not necessarily setting them up for success. And I have friends who, they were ready to return their dogs or, back to shelters because the dog is chewing their furniture. And a dog is not chewing your furniture just because they want to chew your furniture. There's something triggering that, that reason for them to chew your furniture.
Right.
But again, not crossing too many lines here. But the fact of the matter is, we strongly recommend and believe that using Zoundz, again, and not just one scenario, but we're starting to really position Zoundz as an overall well-being tool that can be used, in various scenarios, from, getting a deeper, better sleep at night, which actually has a better impact on the behavior during the next day. Mm-hmm. During the day, once they go out, Harmony should go out and she run, she's a standard poodle. So she has a lot of energy. And so we got to let her out in the backyard. She run. But then sometimes when she comes in the afternoons, she's still worked up. And so we use Zoundz to instead of letting her run around the house, we'll bring her back to a crate, put some sort of toy for her in there and put on Zoundz, like just to kind of, get her back to a normal baseline. And then, another case we already touched on, separation anxiety when you leave, that's real. When you leave them at home, definitely Zoundz and Therapeutic Sounds is a way to be able to give them some sort of comfort while you're not there in a common baseline. When they're in the car, Harmony, she travels well, but I think because of how she was introduced to Zoundz so young. Yeah. Our older dog Miles doesn't travel as well, so we really have to prep him and play Zoundz, well before we get into the car. And he's still a little nervous. So I like to tell people, it's not like you're gonna play Zoundz and your pets, everything's just gonna be eliminated. No, but it helps any way that we can help
relieve some of that.
Right. And that's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just say, let me share a little bit as far as I noticed when I had my Naya, as far as how she was stressed out in the car. And also other dogs will probably do this. That at the time, I didn't really put the term stress or anxiety or whatever. I just knew the behavior she did. Whenever I would take her, and of course, the only time I drove her, which is probably why, I took her to the veterinary hospital. That's where we would always go. So whenever we get into the vehicle, she started open mouth, panting as if she was all excited, drooling, just anxious. And I put it together saying, okay, she knows we're going to the veterinary hospital. And that's shame on me because I didn't take her elsewhere. And that's why she was stressed. And she knew where she was going and everything. And I feel bad that I exposed her to that. So that's a sign folks need to understand and recognize with them. And what I should have done as a pet owner, and what you can do to get around that is, again, Zoundz would help with the whole environment, and also take them more places than just, say, the veterinary hospital. Take them to environments where they can have fun. You go to the dog park, say if you take them to the dog park, then there'll be an excitement whenever they get in a vehicle if they're thinking they're going to the dog park. So if you take them only to places where they dread the veterinary hospital or the groomers, then you can understand why they behave a certain way when they get in the vehicle. So
we're starting. We definitely take Harmony out more than we did with Miles.
Good.
When we go to the pet store, when we go pick our kids up from school, she's in the car, and and that is, you're absolutely right. The more you can bring them out, socialize them, definitely the better, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely behavior. So that was my mistake for my Naya with that, is I didn't take her out enough for her to kind of be comfortable being in the vehicle. So I would say for folks that are listening, please take my advice, take them out more so they don't feel that anxiety. And even with traveling, say if you're traveling in general, and like you just said, take them to multiple places. Good stuff. It just exposure,
I have a question for you that's actually on topic. It's not Zoundz, but
that's okay.
I'm curious because I remember you and I had a conversation, and this was early on, and we were talking about, I was talking about, well, how can we get Zoundz in the air, on the actual flight, and you helped me to realize there were so many laws and regulations in place. My question to you is, has that changed? Has any of the laws evolved at all in terms of devices when they're traveling, and also like in terms of like the I know the laws are constantly changing in terms of them traveling in cargo. And what's the update on that?
I remember us talking about it, and I know you wanted to use Zoundz as putting it inside the carrier so they can keep listening to music as they travel. I remember it was something like that, correct?
Right.
And my concern behind that was a lot of the devices that they have right now have lithium batteries in them. And lithium batteries are a no-no to being transported by cargo. They're considered dangerous goods. Then there's a whole different type of regulations behind transporting that by cargo. Because imagine, God forbid, you put something on in the cargo hold of a commercial airline that's potentially flammable. That's a huge no-no. You know, based upon that. So there are, I know with Delta, we have a listing of certain items that can be transported by cargo. If it meets that list and it's approved, then yes, it can move forward, but very unlikely. Lithium batteries, even in cabin. I don't know if you noticed, they always ask the questions. Does your luggage have lithium batteries or something? Because that's a big no-no even in cabin. So you can't have anything like that because of their ability to become flammable.
So that's something that's not going to change. The only way that would work is if you had a solar, like
find another method, but solar is not going to work because it's inside the cargo hold. So how are we going to?
Well, no, I'm saying if you charge it, the device.
I don't know.
Pre-travel, I don't know.
try it, and if it's a list on the list of approved items that can be transported by cargo, then yeah. Because honestly, there's companies that have put tracking devices sometimes on live animal shipments, but they're approved by the airline. So that's one thing there.
Okay, so, yeah, I was curious about that. Okay,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, great. I know. I feel like I busted your bubble. I'm so sorry. But I was like, nah, you can't just do that.
I thought I had a great. I'm like, oh, I did.
It was a great idea. It's just, it's probably before its time. Because imagine, as time goes on, there's going to be something that's could be utilized. It's not lithium batteries and everything. So you were before your time, and with the idea, it's just right now, it's not the right timing because lithium batteries is most likely used. Trust me, there's folks that want to even use these Apple trackers and all these things.
Right.
They're not allowed.
Oh, so you can't even like an Apple. Wow.
Yeah. Not allowed.
So we still have a ways to go then. There's still
there's a lot more to go, and technology wise. But again, you have to realize, technology can advance more than these regulations too, because some of these regulations been in place for years, and that's just the way it is. It's not saying airline regulation. It could be a federal under the FAA. They can define things. Right. So, things don't just change with technology. It's, hey, that's the regulation and that's it. So,
all right. So we got
way before it's time still. Great idea. We just got to figure out another way to make it happen. That's all.
No, absolutely.
In an ideal world, like I was saying a little bit earlier, in an ideal world, I do believe your product can be used anywhere animals go, and it would be wonderful to have it where, imagine if you, like I said, at home, in your vehicle, in the veterinary hospital, in the grooming facility, boarding facility, shelters. You're traveling, say you're checking into with an airline, and they have it playing, and then get on the aircraft, and maybe they have it. But actually, look, I think about, you know what? I think about the private jet companies, K9 Jets, Bark Air, all those others. Why can't they play your music in cabin? Think about that.
We started to have that conversation because I think I'm not sure, but so far from the conversations I've had, I don't think there's any regulations on private aircraft against that, because at the end of the day, they could actually pipe it in through.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about cargo. I'm talking about them being in cabin.
Absolutely.
Why can't they play that there?
Absolutely. Yes. That's actually a conversation that we've started to have.
Okay.
In terms of just that, having Zoundz play with private aircraft for pets, which is I gotta tell you, I'm blown away. I mean, that's a real there's a real market for it. It's a real business. With people, paying for their pets to be able to travel private.
Yes. Yeah, because everyone is against. Based upon what I know about pets being transported by cargo, and the regulations behind it. I mean, it's temperature controlled. The environment's pressurized, the same as it is if you're in cabin. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I think pets need to be prepared properly for this. And if you research the numbers of saying animal incidents through the Department of Transportation, and the incidents, injury, escapes, or deaths, they're very low, very low. So I hate that social media keeps making it seem like it's, the social media highlights the worst case scenarios. They don't happen that often. So if we can get over all that and really look at the true data behind it, you realize it really isn't that bad as long as my pet is prepared.
So Dr. Bryant, let me ask you this: when pets are with these private pet airlines,
yes,
are the regulations different? So are there certain regulations you can get around, and it's just an easier process, right?
Yes, there are different regulations on them because, number one, they're not the Department of Transportation, airlines that have, I think it's 60 seats or more for a commercial liner, and then they have, say, the cargo hold, transporting pets by cargo. They have to report to the Department of Transportation any animal incident that I mentioned, injury, escape, or death. They have to report that on a monthly basis, and then on a yearly basis, the number of animals they transport. That's been going on for probably since 2015 timeframe that they have to do that. Now, these other ones, if they don't fall within that criteria, they don't have to report to the Department of Transportation. And these are like private jets. They can do whatever they want. It's different regulations. They're not as regulated as the others. And then also, they're being transported for a lot of these private jets in cabin. Right. The regulations that I mentioned for the Department of Transportation is for going by cargo. Right. There's no reporting system for pets going in cabin and reporting things for in-cabin transport on commercial airlines.
Because the tech is just like a human travel.
Yeah. It's you're with your pet owner. The regulations aren't the same. Also reporting to the Department of Transportation. Then also going by cargo. There's USDA's animal welfare regulations. So again, that applies for cargo, but it does not apply for in-cabin. So
one other thing I want to remind you, last year when we spoke, you mentioned bringing me and Beth back on.
Yes.
Together.
Yes. FYI, I just recently I got a text message from Beth, so I have to call her after this session here. But yeah, speaking of devil, she texted me as I started this today. So, but I would love to have you back here because I love what Beth is doing. Beth, we're talking about Beth Schweddy. She is the CEO of the ARC at JFK. They are a CDC animal care facility. And
a Zoundz partner.
Yes, a Zoundz partner, but amazing stuff that she's doing there. It is the only animal facility, boarding facility on airport grounds in the United States. And we need more of that all around. I will love it. But that's the only one on the airport grounds in the US.
Yeah. So, and I have to say, Beth and her team, they gave me a tour when we first partnered. I was blown away.
Yes.
I mean, it's just to see, and they have, the protocols and stuff that they have there are just, the regulations and stuff, but just behind the scenes there is just really amazing to see.
And the coolest thing about the facility there too, their facility also has a section for the horses coming into the United States. And that blew me away. I personally have this thing about horse stalls, the hay and the smells, just, I don't know why that's intoxicating to me. I just love that smell. So
same for me.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know why, but that is a good smell. It's just so earthy. I love it.
Yes.
But she has a wonderful facility. I would love to have both of you back. Well, I want to have her back, but getting you guys back together and I'm so glad I introduced you guys and everything.
Absolutely.
But,
absolutely.
Need to have her back with you. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, love it. Good stuff. Real good stuff. Trying to think what else is going on. Let's see. I mentioned some signs of stress, but one thing I wanted pet owners to realize, in general, signs of stress in pets, you might see their lip smacking, licking their lips. You might see them panting, but it's not hot outside. It's like, what is going on with you? Trembling, sometimes even vomiting and diarrhea. My mom, one of my years ago, my mom would get ready to travel, and one of the dogs would just stay clingy with her. Everywhere she went, it was right there with her. The dog wasn't traveling with her. He was stressed because my mom was leaving. So she would follow her everywhere. Then occasionally vomiting and diarrhea. And you would think, oh, this dog is acting out. No, they're actually having a stress response. They're nervous, and this is the repercussions of it. So these are things that pet owners need to understand as far as signs of stress. That they think about during thunderstorms, they hide, or fireworks, they hide. All those things are signs of stress in your pets, and you have to pay attention to it. And again,
and I'll add to that, Dr. Bryant, well, yes, I'm the founder of Zoundz, but at the end of the day, our mission is to help pets live better lives, right? And so, and with that being said, in a lot of, there's so many tools out there, right? That can be used. And sometimes, we don't like to discriminate against any tool, because sometimes a combination of tools can be what's the most, can be the most effective, right? So it may not be just one tool that you use. You may use Zoundz and 2 other things, right? Whatever that may be. So I like to throw that out there. There's a lot of tools out there to help.
Definite. I think that's a good idea, because sometimes it's a combination of things that really helps the pet calm down. You might also need, a lot of folks are travel. They think that sedation is the best way as far as when their pets are traveling. They should get something to sedate them, but ideally, that's actually not ideally. It's not beneficial for them, because that can cause them to overheat. When you give them sedatives, they can't regulate their body temperatures. And if they're panting, then they can overheat and lead to heat stroke. And I hate to say it, can lead to death too with them. So you don't want to give them anything like that. So try calming devices. Try again, preparing with Zoundz. Try other methods to relax a pet. There's even CBD. If you can use CBD to assist in those processes as well. So as you're saying, there's multiple things that you can use to calm a pet. I'm thinking travel, but even with separation anxiety at home, there could be a combination of things that could really help your pet stay calm during stressful events.
Yes, absolutely.
No, good stuff. Really good stuff. I'm trying to think what else we got. Sir, anything else you wanted to cover before we're done? Because if so, we might be able to get out of here a little bit.
No, I think we've covered a lot. It's always great to speak with you.
I love catching up with you, definitely. And I'm very proud to know you and see you moving on. And we're both at a stage where we're trying to pivot and pivot all to, in a sense, impact pets better and make sure they're safe and relieve stress and just have a happier life, as you were saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Dr. Ryan, it's always great to speak with you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I look forward to this. I think it's my 3rd year.
It is. Hold on, let me make sure. And let me put your information up here too. I forgot to put it earlier, but please reach out to Derrick Garrett for Zoundz Music for Pets. His information is here. Please, he's on Instagram. Actually, I saw you're on Instagram. You're on Pinterest. You're on everything.
Zoundz is. I'm not.
Well, I know, and you and your team are everywhere, basically. So I'm very happy for you. Honestly, happy to know you. So anything further you want to say before we go?
I want to leave it with this. I mentioned it earlier, but I think it's very important because I hear it a lot. Just always remember, as it relates to sound therapeutics, pets do not respond to genres of music. They respond to specific parameters in the music. And if you want to know the studies, we don't, there's nothing, just complete transparency with us. On our website, we have the actual peer-reviewed studies that we use to back our content when it's being created. So, feel free, if you want to see what that is, you can go to our website and see that. But again, just know pets, it actually can do the wrong music playing can do more harm than good.
Yeah, that's good to know. Love it. Well, thank you for joining us today, and we're looking forward to having you back. Hopefully, again, alongside with Beth.
Yes.
But thank you again, and that is it for today. So thank you for joining us, everyone, and sign out. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Bryant.
Let me